And we live, baby. We are live. This about to be a good one. Good one. Good one. Oh, oh. It's about to be a good one. Good one. Good one. And we on. Said we on. I'm just sending my live to some people. If you could please do me the honor and the favor of sending this live to as many people as you possibly can. To as many people as you possibly can. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, y'all. Today we talking about business credit, y'all. It's all about business credit. Welcome. Welcome. Today is all about business credit. We are talking to a business credit guru today. I'm so excited. I don't have my mimosas today, but I still have a little drinky drink. Just a little something slight. Just a little something slight. Just a little something slight. We're going to jump right in, y'all. I don't even want to waste no time waiting for more people. Please send this live to people. Today we're talking all about business credit. So if you're thinking of starting a business, or if you have a business already and you don't fully understand business credit, that is what tonight's topic is. Hey, girl, hey. How you doing, boo? If you guys end up having any questions, do me a favor. Please put it where you see that question mark on your chat. Please, please, please go ahead and drop questions there so I can pull it up and put it on the screen. Tonight is all about business credit. Thank you, girl. I went to my hairdresser yesterday, got a trim and a treatment. She recolored my hair. So I'm feeling, it's giving goddess. That's how I'm feeling right now. And it's getting bigger every single day. So tomorrow's going to be even bigger. I'm excited. Because I go to the concert, the Millennium Concert. Let me bring on, I just be talking in the beginning of my lives, I swear. It's time to bring on our guest today for business credit. He loads on up. If y'all don't have y'all mimosa or a little wine or something, sip something. We talking business and we sipping today.
Hello, Woo! Hello. What's going on?
Hey.
So I decided to join you.
What you got in your cup?
We might not be officially sponsored, but I'm dropping a little love to Uncle Nearest Black-owned dark alcohol.
Okay.
So for anybody trying to drink black, it's good, it's great, and it'll get you where you need to go.
Well, I need to check that out. That looks like it might be tasty.
Yeah.
Okay. Now before I have you go through everything of introducing yourself, I always try to start off with my little theme song. Okay, I don't know if you had a chance to hear it yet.
Nah, this is new.
All right. Mimosa, these bars in the holster, pouring up a drink, put my name on the poster. Women who can rap make you come a little closer. Step out the whip, drop a tip to my chauffeur. New guest on my list, champagne's by my hips. It's time to get lit. Y'all know what it is. It's time to rap, and mimosas. Woo! And we have officially started. I normally do a little chit chat in the beginning with people as they're coming on. Welcome to another great live episode of Rap and Mimosas. As always, I have a special guest here today. Today's topic is a little bit more serious, but still very much so fun. It makes the people a little nervous when we start talking about the credit. With the credit, but we have a guru here today. I'm gonna call you the business credit guru, and he's someone who's actually working with me, okay, also on getting my business credit just in a better place. And I want him to go ahead and introduce himself. So if you could introduce yourself for the people, who are you? What are your credentials? Because I bring on the good people.
Yeah. No, that great question. So my name is Christian. I'm a Florida State graduate, so shout out to the Seminoles out there.
Okay.
Um, Credentials, man, a lot of them. I'm a finance and economics major in undergrad. I worked as a financial advisor for a bunch of years. I worked as a credit analyst for Bank of America, underwriting $1 million to $5 million loans. My last job was at a private bank where we manage wealth. So our clients had to have a minimum of $5 million to invest. Our average account size was $15 million, and we had billionaire clients.
Mm.
And we were just helping them manage their wealth and get access to additional capital. I've been doing business credit for 10 years. I had a Series 7. I have a real estate, I have a mortgage license. So I have credentials galore, and I'm also graduating from grad school with a master's in finance in May. So it's credentials galore.
Yes, credentials galore. And I like to make sure that when I bring on professionals that they really get a chance to talk about that professional aspect, because when we talk about certain things, I brought on mental health experts and things like that. I like to specify when I'm bringing on people just to talk, to talk, and when I'm bringing on people to actually, give good information. Now, we do know that this is rap and mimosa, so we're going to chop it up about business credit and finances in general, because I think that's so important for our community. Some people, if you guys follow Crowd Wall Street, which is my business page, for a crowdfunding campaign, right? Then we had Christian on earlier. This is going to be a little bit more free form. It's also for a full hour. Christian has given his time. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are literally about to really chop it up about those things. And he's an actual expert. And on top of that, he's accepting new clients. So if anything tonight resonates with you, he's going to tell y'all later how to get in contact with him. All right, and everything like that. So first and foremost, let's talk about credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is that for some people that could be a little bit of a death where, people start itching when they hear that credit. What exactly is business credit for those who are watching, and how is business credit different from our personal credit?
Yeah. And I'm going to kind of go a little more deep now that I got a little more time to talk. So, um, the whole point of starting a business is so that if something happens with that business, it's separate from you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start a business today, you start a restaurant, and someone slips and falls in your restaurant, you don't want something to happen to your personal car, your personal house, your personal bank accounts to all be wrapped up in that, and you lose that because something happened within your business. So the way they created the laws is to say your business is separate from your persons, which means you have a personal credit score
Mm-hmm.
and you also have a business credit score. And so that's the whole point of them separating the two. And I would say like the main big benefit that people get is you're allowed to get credit solely in the name of the business. And that credit doesn't, getting access to that credit doesn't affect you personally. So if you got a whole bunch of business debt out there and you got 20,000, 30,000, $40,000 worth of business debt, that should not be affecting your personal debt. That shouldn't affect your personal score. And I think that that's the mistake that most people are making is they're using their personal dollars and they're using their personal score to try to grow this business. And
Mm-hmm.
then they're getting all the negative consequences. They don't have a savings account because they put all the money into their business. They don't have a good credit score because they're using their credit cards for their business. And so my goal is to kind of help people separate the two.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it a lot simpler because come tax time, you shouldn't have to give your personal credit card receipts to try to figure out with you and your accountant what's a personal expense and what's a business expense. If you use your business credit card, well, you know all of your business expenses are in one place, and it makes your life so much easier to try to account for these things.
Okay. That's good. That's really good. And I like a question that we talked about in the previous live, and I want to bring it here, right? Because a lot of what you're saying is stuff that we're not necessarily taught in school, and that can be very problematic. I know, and I'm very honest in saying that I've had a lot of misconceptions about business credit when people have approached me and talked to me about, oh, have you ever thought about doing a business credit card or taking out a line of credit for your business? I'm like, no, I already have, my main credit card or this credit card. And I've really been focusing on becoming a lot more financially literate.
Hmm.
this year and figuring out different ways to, enhance that. Why is it that we're not taught this in school? I'm gonna bring that question back because I really loved your response. Why is it
Yeah.
that we're not taught this in school, and that this is not a norm for us?
Yeah, and I want to start by saying this isn't really taught anywhere. This isn't taught in a business. You can't go back and get a business degree and they're going to teach you about business credit. You can't go and get an MBA and they're going to teach you about business credit. You can't get a master's in finance and they teach you about business credit. You can't go and become a financial advisor and be taught by this. This isn't really being taught anywhere. And the reason is the same reason I said earlier. They really don't want you to know. Banks do not want people to be empowered to be able to go and have a conversation with your banker and say, hey, I just started my business. Where's my $100,000 line of credit? Bankers don't want to do that because they think that if everybody knows about it, people who are financially irresponsible are going to go in there and mess it up for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of keep it hush hush. Banks make it seem like it's impossible. You'll never get approved, yada, yada, yada. But none of that stuff is true.
Okay. And if someone who's watching this live or even this replay wanted to open a line of credit, what are some things that they should keep in mind? Going to like, oh, okay, I want a credit card for my business and I want $100,000 right now. Okay,
Yes.
today. What should
Mm-hmm.
they keep in mind when they're applying? And even we can say this multiple times because I know people are watching and probably going to take notes on this. But even the best type of business cards that you yourself as a professional, feel are good to get into.
Yeah, and so the first place that I always tell people is to go with the business credit cards. They're the easiest thing to get, and all you need to qualify for a business credit card is a 720 credit score or higher. That's it. They're looking specifically at your personal credit score. They're not looking at your time in business. They're not looking at how much revenue you have. They're not looking at any of those other factors. So if you've got a good credit score, I would tell you go out right now and look at the Chase Inc. credit cards. They've got two of them that I really like, the Unlimited and the Cashback. Or if you're an American Express person, I'm more of a Chase person, but for American Express people, there's an Amex Blue Preferred and there's an Amex Blue Cashback. Those are the two that I would recommend. They offer 0% interest for 12 months, and they usually offer some like sign-on bonus, or if you spend a certain amount of money in the first few months, they'll give you cash back. I think American Express is 500, and Chase is giving you $750. So if you're like, all right, Christian, I want to get access to business credit, what's the easiest way to do it? Business credit cards. If you want $100,000, and I would tell you the first thing you need to do is book a session with me,
Well,
because
even slide that.
I'm gonna tell you the right thing to do. But if you're like, hey Christian, what if I got an established business and I want to get access? Well, the unfortunate part about it is banks are using this old system. Banks are going to ask you for 2 years of tax returns. They're going to require you to move your deposits over to their bank. And they're going to ask you for everything under the sun, a personal financial statement. They're going to ask you for your personal tax returns plus your business tax returns. They're going to want a list of all your assets. And so it gets super complicated, which is why I recommend people talk to me first to see how can we avoid that and just get you straight to the dollars without having to submit all that paperwork.
Mm. And then, okay, and before we continue further, for anyone watching, I want to say this, that Christian or myself are liable. Listen, if y'all go out here and do this on your own, that's
Yeah.
your business. Okay. If it don't work out, that's your business. Listen, because Christian is an expert, and I think he will only be considered to be someone that gives you specific advice if you book time with him. Right now, we're just talking in general.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I state that for the people.
Yep.
Okay, now here's the other thing, right? Because some people, I don't want anyone to have a misconception, which is you get this line of credit, right? And we've talked about this because you've given the example of the construction worker, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
a very good example. If you want to go elaborate after this question, feel free to. But you get this line of credit. What if I can't pay it back?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're gonna assume that you took my advice, you went to Chase website, and you got approved for a Chase Inc. business credit card, and they gave you a 20,000, 30,000. They gave you a $30,000 limit. You had an amazing score, and they gave you the money. Um, the first thing I want you to know is that when you submitted that application, you said if the business can't pay the money, I promise to pay the money. Banks do not give out free money. I want to just tell people that right now. Banks do not give you free money. That's not a real thing. There's no get rich quick scheme. There's no guaranteed money. None of that stuff. And so you have to understand that what I'm recommending you to do is to get that Chase card. After you get approved, Chase gives you 12 months at 0% interest to take that money, to go out and flip it, and then to pay them back. You got 12 months. And I like to be honest with people here, because this is kind of where I get a little stern with people. If you got a free $30,000 from the bank, and they say you got to pay me back at the end of 12 months, if you can't take $30,000 and go out and buy some oranges and sell them on the interstate, or buy some roses and sell them on Mother's Day, if you can't take that money and make money, you don't deserve to be in business. And that's just the fact. If you can't take money and make money, you need to be an employee. You need to work for somebody's company. You need to put a little bit of money into savings aside every single month so that you can get you to retirement. You need to show up at 8 a.m. You need to leave at 5. You need to take your 1 hour lunch and your 15-minute break in between, and go on your 2.5 to 4 week vacation. But if you want to be a business owner and you want to be taken seriously as a business owner, you got to be able to take that money and make that money. And that's just the way it is.
First of all, don't be getting stern with my followers. Get stern. They need that. I need that. We need that. We as a people need that. Because I'm very transparent. Christian is working with me currently on my own business credit and helping me and educating me on business credit as well. Because once again, when I learn something, when I'm learning, I want to make sure that everybody, that I know or that could possibly benefit from this information benefits. And I want Christian to get business. Okay. I want you to get all the business. I want the dollars circulating, okay, as much as possible. So I want to jump back for a second. What got you into this? Because if I'm honest, right, and I like to be transparent. A lot of times, like, I won't say everyone, I know I have struggled with the mindset of lack. Right. So it's not that I'm not talented or charismatic or any of those things that would stop me from achieving any of my goals. But the fear of failure will stop me. Like the moment you say $100,000 credit, I'm like, oh my gosh, 100,000. I don't start with this mindset of, oh my gosh, all the things I could do with this money. I think of, oh my gosh, if I have to pay this money back, what if the idea doesn't work? What if no one buys the book? What if no one registers for the course? What if no one wants to talk to me? Right? To be confident in your finances, a lot of times I've realized I have to change my mindset when it comes to money. And I have to change my the way I talk about money. I can't talk about it as if it rules me. I have to talk about it like it's an asset of which is never scared of me. It comes to me abundantly. All I do is I sleep, I wake up, oh my gosh, there's money. Like that's the type of things that I've had to get to this point of telling myself. For you to be a person who's in this industry, what got you into it in the first place?
Yeah, I would say, and a lot of people might be able to identify this, but I grew up broke. I didn't have any money. So when you grow up broke and you don't have access to any money at all, you'll start to be like, okay, I don't want to be here. So I think that's the first thing is I acknowledge that I can always go back. And I just want to kind of talk about that for a second because you and I we can be real about this. If I lost everything I got tomorrow and I was penniless and I had to go back and live with my mama and start over from scratch, I'm okay because I've been there before. Like it hurts, it's uncomfortable, it's inconvenient. But in America, and my dog 50 Cent taught me this one, you can file for bankruptcy. You can tap out. Hey, I ain't got it. I'm sorry. My bad. They put a negative mark next to your name, but you don't go to prison. They just make it so that you have to sit down. You can't play for 5 to 7 years. And at the end of that time, you can go back into it. And so I want people to understand that, yes, it will be painful if you lose. And yes, you will have to pay back the majority of that money. But if you really get in over your head and you borrow $100,000 and can't pay it back, you can go to the judge and say, I ain't got it. He gonna point at you real strong. They're gonna wipe that debt away. And in 7 years, you can go back and do the same thing again. And I got this mentality working as a financial advisor. Some of my most wealthy clients, they was on their third or fourth bankruptcy. They done messed it up a bunch of times.
Explain. Okay, explain it to me, right?
Yeah.
Because explain the bankruptcy process, okay,
Yes.
to those who are joining in. Explain this
Yes.
bankruptcy because when I think about bankruptcy, it's like, oh my gosh, I would never want to file for bankruptcy. But then you hear about so many wealthy people who have filed for bankruptcy, and bankruptcy doesn't mean that they're really broke per se. Because I know 50 Cent had filed for bankruptcy or something, but he still had like an expensive ass life going on. I said, now how you did? Let me tell you something about me and 50 Cent. I would love to not necessarily work for 50 Cent, but I would love to either interview him. Yeah, we're going to save this live because if I interview him on Rapper Mimosas in a couple of years, it's going to be funny. But I would love to interview 50 Cent. And to be honest with you, I'm more scared of 50 Cent than I am of the IRS. That man, yeah. 50 gonna get his money, honey.
Yes,
or he gonna embarrass you. Get rich or die trying. Okay, 50 Cent will get rich or die trying. He will embarrass you. Explain bankruptcy for us, for those who are like myself who may not fully understand the concept of what bankruptcy means, because I thought bankruptcy means that you just don't have no money. But when I see that wealthy people have applied for bankruptcy, I'm realizing it's not that you don't have no money. It's just like the debt to income ratio. Rich people be having certain advisors who are able to, well, they didn't even hardly think to that. I'm like, how y'all did that?
Yeah, so let me make sure that, because I'm gonna be speaking in general terms. I'm not a bankruptcy attorney. I'm also not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is not accounting advice. This is just two people talking.
Two people talking. That's it.
People talking. That's it. So there's I'm gonna separate personal bankruptcy for a second because we're gonna tackle that part. That part's a little messier, but we're gonna assume that you set up your LLC or incorporation the right way, meaning it's separate from yourself. You set up a business bank account and you never use your personal bank account to pay for business expenses. You only use your business account to pay for business expenses.
Okay.
All of the business credit that you got access to, you didn't personal guarantee any of it. The bank gave you the money because of how successful your business is.
Okay.
So, and these things are all normal. So what will happen is Mr. 50 Cent went out there, and when he enters into an agreement with a person, he does not enter into an agreement as Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. He enters into the agreement as 50 Cent Incorporated. So however much money is in 50 Cent Incorporated is the amount of money that you can go after. In the example we talked about earlier, you own a restaurant. If you set up the restaurant the right way, if someone slips and falls at your restaurant, that has nothing to do with your $2 million house up the hill. It has everything to do with the restaurant that they were in. And so I want people to understand that when you set up these businesses, what you're really doing is saying, hey, I am not that business. I'm me, and that business is completely separate. And so what will happen is I encourage people to take in a lot of risk with their business. Because if the business goes bankrupt, the bank can only go after what the business owns.
Ooh,
what the business owns. So right now, I've got 5 or 6 different businesses. Some of them have a lot of money. Some of them have a little bit of money. So if Christian, I ain't got no money incorporated, gets into an issue and, something happens and you sue me for $1 million, Christian, I ain't got no money, only has $5 in that account. I owe you $1 million. So I have to then file for bankruptcy. The entity will no longer exist. And unfortunately, you only get access to what's in that business. For example, if Apple goes bankrupt tomorrow, Steve Jobs don't own it anymore. Bill Gates, we're going to assume that he owns Microsoft.
Okay.
If Microsoft goes bankrupt, Bill Gates does not go bankrupt. They're separate.
The company goes bankrupt.
The company goes separate. So I just want people to understand that a lot of times when we hear these celebrities filing for bankrupt, their company is actually filing for bankrupt. And it's only the amount of money you keep in your company. Most people keep their assets to themselves, so they don't have to worry about it.
You're right. So let me ask you this, because we're going to get into writing everything off. I'm going to see how, because I'm gonna tell you, I had a homegirl. She might be on this live right now, and we were talking about a trip that we could take. And technically, we're gonna talk about business on the trip, right? So
Yeah.
because we're also gonna talk about business on the trip, it's like that's a tax write off. I said, but once you learn the system, I know I've seen people talk about getting cars, trips, all of these different things through your business credit or whatever finances you use within your business, and being able to write that off
Yeah.
at the end of the year. Your meals, your gas, what else? If you do work from your house, your light bill, your
Yes.
Wi-Fi,
Yes.
like all of these different things can be written off. And I'm just like, how have I not been, utilizing all of these different assets in order to, be successful? And
Yes.
I really want to know more about the writing things off aspect. And once
Yeah.
again, for those who might be joining the live a little bit late, welcome to Rap and Mimosas. We are going to rap in a little bit. Christian going to drop these bars, okay?
Hey.
Because before the end of every live, I have my guest rap, okay? No matter who they are, where they're from, they rap or they hype or whatever. Christian don't even know the beat. And Christian, I'm sorry, I realized I didn't send you the beat.
I'm a rapper. That's okay. I'll figure it out. We gonna make it work.
Excuse me. Y'all heard that, right? He said I'm a rapper. Okay. I wanted to make sure that y'all heard that. Okay. So talk to us a bit, if you can, about writing things off, these tax
Yeah.
write-offs. How do people go about doing that? Are there anything that has a limit on it?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So this is a good question. I'm going to talk about some of my favorites and different strategies that I recommend for people. So let's start with if there's anybody in a relationship, anybody that's married, anybody that's got a serious boo thing, I would recommend starting a company. Um, because what can happen is me and my boo went to dinner last week, and we didn't go to dinner because we wanted to have a date night. We went to dinner because we were having a board meeting for our company, and it was our monthly board meeting. And so, because it was our monthly board meeting, we were able to write off dinner and drinks and 100% of the expenses that night. So, that's just something to consider. If you got a close group of friends, and y'all always get together and talk about investing, well, then y'all need to get together and talk about it investing under the guise of the LLC so you can write off those expenses. And that's really one of my favorite. Now let's talk about trips for a second. Trips work the exact same way. So we incorporated one of our businesses at her mama house. And so when we have to, fly from Boston to Florida, well, this isn't going to visit mom. This is going to the location of our business. So we can write off the flight. We can write off the travel from the airport. We can write off all the food expenses. And we can write off some entertainment if we have to entertain a really big client. Her mom is thinking about signing a really big business credit deal with us. So when we take her to Disney World or something like that, this is not because we're taking her mom out to Disney. This is because we're really trying to secure a really big client. And so you really have to understand that the way this works is you need to be able to just document what's happening. So when we had our little board meeting, after we got home, we were sauced up. The next day, I typed up an email. We had a great meeting yesterday. Here are the minutes from the meeting. We talked about growth strategy for 2021 and 2022. We talked about employees we want to hire. And, we cleaned it up on the back end. I sent it to my accountant so that he has a record of it early, or I saved it to my little Google Drive folder so that I have a record of it. So when it comes times for accounting, we have a place where we can say, well, hey, I know we spent, $150 in shots of Casamigos, and but these are legitimate business purposes because look, this is what we talked about. So I just want to encourage people to understand that there are opportunities to write a lot of things off. And for instance, like right now, you and I are having a conversation. You're not having a conversation with Christian right now. You're having a conversation with Christian, CEO of Micro Venture Funding. And so I'm using my cell phone. Let me go ahead and write that off. My cell phone is connected to my charger. That charger is connected to that socket right now. So these are business expenses. That electricity that's coming out, that's business expense. That AC, this square footage that is my office, as y'all can kind of introduce y'all to my office, all of this square footage is going to be written off. So as we're working from home, which a lot of us are, we can write off a portion of our space that's dedicated to operating our business as a business expense. So I want people to really understand that, like, a lot of the money that you're spending, whether it's gas, whether you had to purchase a vehicle, all those things can be written off. And let me give you one of my favorite. You live in South Florida, so it's kind of obvious to you, but you've seen a lot of G-Wagons and Lamborghini trucks and Audi trucks and F-350. Everybody's got a big truck nowadays. Mm-hmm. The reason why is because you can write off the full amount of the vehicle in the first year if it's over 6,000 pounds. Now, like I said, this is just friends talking, so please consult your tax professional before you go out and buy a G-Wagon. But if your business is making a lot of money, you're making $300,000-$400,000, you had a really good year, you're trying to figure out, how do I not pay taxes on $500,000? You can go to your local Mercedes, you can purchase a nice vehicle, you can write that entire amount off, and your income can go from $300,000 to like $50,000 real quick, based on what type of accessories you want to put on your new G-Wagon.
Christian, where have you been all of our lives?
I know.
He's like, I know. I'm great, aren't I?
Listen, and this is, people are doing this right now here today.
Yeah.
So, and that's how the tax code is set up. They want you to win as a business owner. They really do.
I want to win as a business owner. Now, before we continue, welcome everyone who might have just joined. Listen, Janine, I know you just jumped in. Janine is the person who connected me with Christian. Christian has been working with me, Janine, on my business credit. Janine, when you have to come onto the show, by the way, onto Rapping Mimosas.
I will say, she is quite the rapper. She got some bars. Now, don't let her tell you otherwise.
Janine, you got bars?
You see that, amen? You see that, amen?
This whole time I started my podcast and you ain't been on it? Why? Janine is another person who could really talk about funding opportunities. And I know, she said, Janine, it's over. I'm texting you after this live. Okay. It's not a little jingle jangle. I'm texting Janine after this live. And we're going to jingle jangle together on the live. I'm going to do Rapping Mimosas. Say no more. Thank you, Christian, for letting me know that she got bars. Because I didn't know that my Sabra had bars like that. Okay? All right. So we're going to keep going. Christian, first of all, this is amazing. I want to let you know that. I want to affirm that. Like, you are really dropping gems tonight. Okay? You are really dropping gems tonight. And on top of that, right, you are possibly, like, I already know your DMs is starting to pop. Okay, I've already seen people saying that they're sliding into the DMs. For those who just joined in, don't forget, Janine, stay here because we're going to see Christian rap in a little bit. Okay, we're going to see how many bars Christian has. Okay, right? And we've been talking about business credit this whole time. So if you, for whatever reason, have not been able to see the live from the get-go, okay, keep in mind that this live is going to be up on the page for a couple of days, and then I take it down and it'll be up on my YouTube for Rapping Mimosas, okay, as well as on all streaming networks. So that's Spotify, Apple, the RSS, Google, and everything else that has, okay, possible podcast playing. How you feeling over there with that drink?
Oh man, I'm good. And I want to once again shout out to my unofficial sponsor, Uncle Nearest, black owned alcohol. We drinking. We got a little Coke mix. I need that in my life. It's a little Coke mix, but it's mostly drink.
Yeah, I need that in my life. Look, Janine over here hyping me up. Girl, you know you beautiful now. Don't start that. Don't start that. Okay. Now, one of the questions I wanted to ask, and someone asked me this earlier, how to secure leverage banknotes. And I feel like, I don't know if the question makes sense to you because I didn't understand it fully, but I kind of feel like it's similar to the question we asked on a previous live about becoming more like not only accessible, but like we look better to banks, right? Because some people may want to get a loan at some point. right? They may go through different aspects of it. So how does having really good credit or even business credit affect our relationship with banks?
Yeah, and when we talk about a leverage bank note, I'm not specifically sure what that financial instrument is. So if they're here, they can kind of ask a more specific question.
Mhm.
But the bank underwriting is exactly the same regardless of the product you get. So this is if you decide, hey, I'm going to go off on my own and I'm going to do this outside of what Christian would recommend. The traditional process is you need at least 2 years of tax returns. Now, let me kind of burst the bubble on the writing off the expenses. Um, so I'm sorry to tell y'all this, but if you write off hella expenses and your business loses money every year, you're never going to get access to traditional business credit on your own. Meaning banks are going to see that you wrote off $500,000 in expenses and you bought three G Wagons, one for you and one for your two booze. Unfortunately, that means that your business made $0 last year. So when you go to the bank and say, hey, look at how much money I made, I'm balling, they're going to be like, well, I'm sorry. With all these write offs, you actually made $0. So you won't get access to traditional business funding. And so that's the mistake that most people make is they write off all the expenses and they try to get a house, they try to get a business loan, they try to get a business line of credit, and they'll be consistently denied. So banks, they want you to make a choice. You have to either get access to business funding, which means pay taxes, or you can not pay taxes and not get access to funding. So that seems to be the problem that most people are like, well, should I pay taxes on my income or should I go out and get funding? So you kind of have to be able to balance those things. If you're working with someone like me, you can have your cake and eat it too. I'm gonna tell you the banks that ain't gonna check. They're not gonna look at no bank statements. They're not gonna look at no account statements. They're not gonna look at no tax returns. They're gonna take your word for it because I've already asked them and they're like, nah, Chris, we don't check those things. And
You better
so
drop. Give us an exclusive now.
all right, let me think about some of my exclusives here. I want to give you a good one.
Give us a good.
Um, gosh, Lord, you got me get okay. So let's talk for a second. I want to start off with the personal side. So
Okay.
for anybody that has credit challenges, meaning your credit score is below 650 and below, you're likely going to get denied for every single credit card that you apply for. But thankfully, there are fintech apps. There are these new startups that have come out and said, we don't care nothing about your credit score. We're going to give you access to credit that ain't got nothing to do with your credit score. So for this, it's a company called Grain App. I'm going to drop that right now in the chat. I'm going to write it down.
I'm about to
Grain
screenshot my old stuff. But
App.
Christian, it's okay. We about to set our next meeting anyway, so we're gonna go right over this.
So Grain App on the personal side. This on the personal side. You can download that app. It's only available in the Apple Store. If you download them and you connect your bank account, they look at your transactions, and if you make decent money and you got transactions going through that account, and the account is more than 6 months old, they'll give you access to up to $1,000, no questions asked, instantly on the spot, right then on the spot, $1,000. And I really challenge somebody who's like watching this right now to go and do it. Go download the app, connect your bank account, and see if you get approved. You'll be approved on the spot. So I love them because it's an easy way to get a free $1,000. You can take that money, spend it, grow your business, and then pay it back the next month. Now remember, if you keep the balance outstanding, it'll affect your personal score. So that's the first one. There's a company that I talked about on the last one. I'll tell you this one. They're called Rapid Finance. They give you business lines of credit. Rapid Finance. They give you business lines of credit, and as long as your business is doing numbers, as long as you got some cash coming in, 5,000, 10,000 a month, somewhere along those lines, they will be able to give you access to funding as well. And so those are my two dreams. I can't give you too much because unfortunately this is a business, and I prefer to kind of talk to you about these things one on one in the DMs.
Listen, I support that because guess what? If they want to know more, they need to become a client like me.
Yes, they do.
Just
Yes,
saying.
they do. Yes.
If they want to know more, they're going to become clients of yours. So I'm 100% supportive of you not giving away all of your gems. Okay,
Yeah.
so right now you don't even realize how many lives. I don't care if it was 2 people watching, 1 person watching. You're changing lives.
Yeah.
right now for people
Yeah.
who are, you know, able to watch this live, also able to watch the replay because some people may not be available at this moment, or seeing it on YouTube or listening on Spotify, right? Or any of those other streaming platforms. So this is very, very good information. Okay.
Okay.
This is amazing information because just like my followers are becoming, yes, he did say Grain App was only on Apple. Okay.
Yeah.
But just like my followers are becoming more educated, I'm becoming more educated as well. And that's so important because I try to be as transparent as possible when I say that financial literacy is something that is so essential. And while some people may be watching this right now, if you could share it to other people, or even after the live is ended, just share it in that regard. That's going to be so influential. Not to mention, we're going to get in Christian business. So people, you know, it's something about a man that know about money. Christian, you single?
No, 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 no. I have a fiance. She's right there. Hey, Bill.
Hey,
Um,
fiance girl.
and no, so I mean, in my mind, I'm trying to. I and I think this is a good thing to talk about. There's a lot of men out there
Yeah.
who need to be in a safe financial place in order to enter into a relationship with another woman. Um, and those men may not have access to the financial resources to be able to grow their business to a place so that we can reproduce more beautiful Black marriages and families. And so I just want to kind of talk to the men out there to say, like, if you don't have access to the money you need to re-up on your business supplies, to order more stuff and drop ship more, to invest in that training course, to get you over the hump, to get you that mortgage, please reach out.
Reach out.
I can help you get access to the money. You just have to have something to do with it. That's the biggest problem that I find with most people is I can get you the money, but what can you do with it? Are you gonna buy another Gucci belt? Do you need another swag T-shirt? Do you need another pair of Jordans? Or can you take the money and go out there and bring value back to the Black community? And so, you know, I think that is sort of where some of my passions are. And for women too, I don't discriminate. It's just like, you know, brothers have been, they've been going through a lot recently. Black women have been on their entrepreneurship game. Y'all have been outperforming all these stereotypes, going out and getting educations and all that stuff. So in order to create more Black families, I think that's kind of what I want to encourage out there.
Honestly, everything you said was a mouthful and it was so necessary, right? In the sense of just like, I'm big and I love to talk. I told you earlier, I was just like, listen, when we talk on Rapping Mimosas, I'm getting your business just a little bit.
Yeah, get in.
Just a tad, right? So for you, and you're advocating at this moment in time for Black love, right? Even outside of that concept, right? The biggest thing is that we want to build financially literate families. Something you said in the last live that we didn't talk about on this one is building generational wealth. I know how to build generational debt. Okay. I know someone whose mother took out, maybe put the light bill or a credit card or something in their name. Might have been multiple accounts. It was like the light bill, a credit card, and something else in their name. And because of the fact that that parent was not paying any of those things on time, by the time this child got to the age of 18, their credit was messed up.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about this on the last live about building generational wealth, and we talked specifically about Donald Trump and how his father pretty much invested in him, but also gave him this extra foot, right? In the sense of like, okay, hey, I have all of this good credit. I have all of this money. You're going to need this in order to be successful. I'm going to co-sign you on my credit card. Can we talk a little bit deeper? I know I kind of gave quite a bit away, but can we talk a little bit deeper about that for those who are looking, who might have children watching this live, right? How can they start to impart generational wealth to their children or even their grandchildren or nieces, nephews,
Oh
whomever?
man. Oh man, this is my favorite topic. I could talk about this forever. So let me hit my favorite one so far. So the first things first is this is just like a me decision. I'm not going to buy your kid a present if I go to your baby shower. I'm not going to buy them a present. I'm going to buy them a stock. I'm going to buy them a stock certificate. I'm going to buy them Apple stock. I'm going to buy them weed stock. I'm going to buy them Uncle Nearest stock. I'm going to buy them a black-owned stock company, and I'm going to give that as a gift. Because I think that sometimes we're always thinking about the now. I got a niece who every store she goes into, she wants a toy. We went into Walmart the other day, and we were in the women's hair aisle, and she saw a makeup mirror, and she was like, "I want a toy." She is like addicted to consumerism, where we can go to the drugstore and she just wants you to buy something for her so she can take it out the store. And so I want to reprogram us to stop thinking about the kid needs a toy, because you can get a kid an empty box and they'll play with it for 3 days and build a fort. And we in the black community, I think somewhere along the lines, we started listening to these rappers and we lost our resourcefulness, where we could take a cereal box and play for 2 days, take a little spinning top and just spin that with our friends and they crash into each other. We used to be able to take $2 and have a great time. And we don't seem to be able to do that anymore. And so I want to encourage us to go back to being broke, go back to that being broke mentality where our kids got to struggle a little bit. They can't just get the newest Xbox and pair of Jordans and think that's parenting. So I want to encourage more people to say, hey, I ain't getting my nieces and nephews no more toys. I'm going to instead put money into an account that'll be invested so that when they turn 18, they can actually have something of value, not a bunch of toys they threw away for the last 20 years. So I want to kind of start there. What does gift giving look like? Gift giving looks different. You can spend the same money, just do it differently. The second thing we talked about is credit cards. So right now, the majority of black people are like harming their children's credit by putting these light bills or whatever in their name, and then when they turn 18, they got a negative credit score. So let's flip that on its head. When I'm encouraging y'all to go and get access to business credit, what I'm also going to encourage you to do is to have your children co-sign some of that business credit, especially if you're going to be responsible with it. If you're not going to be responsible, don't do it. But if you are going to be responsible for it, whether it's a personal credit card or a business credit card, give your child one. Don't actually give them the physical card, but put it in their name also. So that when they turn 18, Bank of America, it's already in their system that for the last 10 years, they've been a responsible borrower. So that when they apply, they're significantly more likely to get approved. They're going to be able to go and get access to whatever they want. And so that's the main thing that I want to tell people is like, you can use these different credit lines by adding your kids on there and then helping them build their score. And so I think those are the main two tips. But really, please stop giving these kids toys. Buy these kids some stock. I saw Kanye did it for Kim, and now Kim is worth twice as much money because the stocks he picked was doing well. I think that's the type of things we need to start encouraging more of.
Oh, but you done said a mouthful. First of all, whenever I get pregnant, you're invited to the baby shower. You, wifey, y'all come to the baby shower. Okay. Y'all have the first invitation to the all exclusive baby shower because I need y'all to come and buy my baby some stock. God, what the heck about? I wish I would be bad. What you say? You bought the baby a stock and whatnot? Oh, say no more. Say no more. I'm writing that thank you card personally. I'm gonna draft it up in my ugly ass handwriting, like yeah. I said that to you and wifey.
And remember, that is not a baby shower. That is a corporate meeting of senior executives and potential clients.
Okay, and look, someone just said godparents. I don't even know you. Well, Christian, we about to become best friends. You are now officially the godparents of my uterus. Whatever come out of here, it's your responsibility. You and wifey, okay? Hey, wifey. Hey, godmama. Because y'all buying stock over on that side of the screen, okay?
Hey,
I was still up here trying to buy books. Y'all done beat me. I was like, I'm going to buy some books. Yeah. Oh, stop. Oh, that's what we are now with generational wealth. Uncle Chris. Uncle Chris. Hey, Barbiana, you got me tonight, girl. Uncle Chris. Now, look, before we start to get to our fun round, and this is where we get to games and a bit more of the rapping portion. So, Christian, I hope you're ready. Okay. What I want to do is I want to make sure that you put into the chat for those who are watching, how can they get in contact with you if they want to work on their business credit, learn more about credit. I want you to get that clientele, babe, because what you do is so special.
Yeah, guys. I keep it simple. Please slide in my DMs. My Instagram name, Microventure Capitalist. Slide in my DMs. Go to my page, click the little link, book a session. I got time. So put some time on my calendar and let's have an individual conversation. It's not going to cost you anything. And I like to, because some people are nervous because they're like, yo, I want to book a session, but how much does it cost? So I want to talk about cost for a second.
Talk about it.
I only charge a fee based on what you get approved for. So if we work together for 6 months and I never get you access to a single dime of business credit, I don't get paid a single dime. Because I would have been volunteering my time and I haven't been able to give you any value. Now, if I help you get access to $10,000 or $100,000 or $1,000,000, I just charge you a fee based on what I help you get access to. Fee is very simple, 10%. So if you get $100,000, after you get approved, you got the money in your account. I send you an invoice for $10,000. You pay me, and if you want more money, let me know. But that's how I work. So you're not paying me some big upfront fee. You're not paying $5,000 for a training course. You're not paying anything up front. I only get paid on you getting results because I want us to be in this together.
Mm-hmm. Boy, you better talk about it, boy. Everybody get 100,000 so I can give my dog 10,000. He already up clearly. Okay, and I need him to be able to pay. Listen. Everybody book some time with him, and everybody needs to get approved for at least 100,000. That's the goal.
That's the
Okay,
goal.
that is the goal. That's the goal for me. I can't speak for everybody else, Christian, but you and I.
We got something going already.
you and I, you and I like this. Okay, we our eyes are locked. Okay, between Boston and South Florida. Okay, so Christian, what I'm going to do, okay, for those, and like I said, for those, I'm going to pin your comment. Let me try to pin it really quickly so people know how to find you, even though you're also tagged in this live. What I want to do is I want to play a quick word association game. It's going to deal with business. I'm going to say a word. Okay, the first word that pops into your head, we're going to do 3. Okay, the first word that pops into your head, you are going to tell me what that is. Okay, so for example, if I said bricks and you said red, right? Okay, and then from there, you're going to make up a story with whatever words you came up with.
Okay, that sounds fair.
Okay, and then we're going to go into our rap. I already going to pick out the beat.
I'm ready.
Okay, all right, so the first word is credit.
Business.
Okay, that's your first word. The second word is wedding.
Orlando.
Oh, I'm about to slide to Orlando. You know, I went to school. I went to UCF. Okay, sorry. I'm not coming.
She did too.
What year?
Oh, 20. She graduated 2012.
She graduated 2 years before me.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sure y'all know each other.
Possibly because the black community real small. I'm a Zeta. I was okay. All right. So we got business. We got Orlando. All right, one more. I'm gonna say Greek.
Picnic.
Okay, so we got business, Orlando, and picnic. You are gonna have. Let me get my timer ready because I don't want you on the live. You're gonna have 30 seconds to tell a story. Okay, and the story has to involve business, Orlando, and picnic. Okay.
Yep.
Whenever you start, I start the timer.
I met my fiance, and our first date was in Orlando. And while on this first date, we talked a lot about business. So much so that within the first month of dating, I sent her an Excel spreadsheet with what our financial future would look like for the next 5 to 10 years. And that did not want her to start a picnic with me at all. No.
First of all,
Quite the opposite.
it, first of all, did you really send that? Did you really send her a spreadsheet?
A spreadsheet with like multiple pages. with the age in which we would both become millionaires, when we would own our first home, second home, third home. It
I'll
was
be honest with you. That is, but like that is. I won't call it romantic, but the fact that you don't plan that far and put it in a spreadsheet is kind of cute to a certain degree.
to a certain degree.
If you got brothers or something,
Well, look, I got some Kappa brothers, so maybe there's something there.
oh, Kappa brothers.
Whatever we did to you, I'm sorry. Because that reaction set it off.
Kappa. Oh man, the trauma. Thank you for participating in that. I'm going to give you a round of applause now.
Thank you.
Okay. Florida women are forced to be reckoned with. Yes, we are, sis. Yes, we are for us Florida women. Now, you ready to hear your beat for your rap?
All right, hold on one second. Let me set up my I need to stand up a little bit.
Oh, yes.
I gotta kind of get myself together a little bit more.
Oh, carry on.
All right. Give myself a little space. You know what I'm saying? I gotta feel like I'm in the booth right now. Get ready.
With the headphones. Okay. Lord, it's about to be a cipher. I will.
I'm ready.
All right. The beat is real old school and simple. It's the first thing I thought of. Yeah.
Yeah. Check it. Who not? Who hot? Oh, wait. Let me talk a little bit first. I gotta give the people some words. See, I came. When I'm talking, I can't hear it, so I'm gonna have to just talk anyway. Check. They call me. Let me hear it a little more. So I'm stalling. It's coming. Yeah. Check. They call me Christian. You can call me Christ. I'm that nice. Yo, check. I got dollars for days. Yo, wait. We gotta restart. Restart. Yo, check. Wealth is health. Sorry. Restart. All right, guys, that's all I got. I ain't got my raps together. I should have pinned something a little bit.
You said you was a rapper.
You know what I'm saying? It's the way the earth is set up right now, and the volume in the headphones. We gotta do this in person so I can like hear it at the same time.
We do. Are you ever in Florida?
I'll be in Florida next month. It's November now, so in 2 weeks.
Okay, well let me know. For real.
Yeah, I'll be in South Florida. We got to do this in person.
We got to do this in person because I'm quite sure they want you to run it back. All right, let me see. You got to be my hype man.
All right.
Okay. Because I didn't write nothing. This is going to be complete freestyle.
Freestyling.
Jesus is fine. All right, let's get serious. It's rap and mimosas, and we talking about credit, Christian, you know, he gonna let it, and it's all good, slide in his DMs, and we talking about credit, and girl gonna fet it, it's a party over here, big hair, you know I don't care, I rhyme care with cure.
Hey!
Hold on, I'm serious. And we doing it, and we fluid it, and Christian gonna come to the show real live, and you know we don't jive, and we do it real live, and your girl stay fine, and we talking about the credit, lit with it, do a split with it, get excited for that credit, we gonna save you from the IRS. because you know that we do it best. Book a session with Christian. You know that he the one. It's the Matrix in here. He made that credit clear. Your girl real lit, real lit, and she stay real.
Y'all don't want to know what we had to go through to get this here, but you gonna get these raps. You gonna get these raps. Little do you know.
Christian, you better hype me up,
Dollars.
Yo, Christian, it's been a pleasure to rock with you for the last. We only took 30-minute break, so almost freaking 2 hours, right? 6:30 to 7, 7:30 to now 8:30. I know I started a little bit late on both sessions. You know, I'll be trying to get the technology, and I make sure I have my charger and everything. I don't want nothing to happen. Okay. So, Christian, one more time. I pinned it, but how can people get in contact with you about this business credit?
Very simple. Slide in my DMs, go on my page, click the link, book a session. Let's have a conversation. The good news is if the conversation goes well with me, you're going to get a lot of money. You're going to get access to more money than you ever thought you ever get access to. So book a session. Call me now.
Book a session. Call me now.
Call me now.
What was that lady name?
Miss Cleo.
Miss Cleo. Call me now. That's what Christian said. Okay, you gonna guys book him. Seriously, I booked him. On all serious notes, I booked him. We've been able to come up with a strategy that I think is working very excellent. Just so you know, Christian, I'm pretty much at the go, baby. What you say? Hey. We're fixing my credit. My credit's not horrible, but at the same time, it definitely could always be better. Christian, so far, I have 1 or 2 people who have already said, she said, you could call me now. Okay, right. I already have a person who said that they DM'd you. So I feel like at least 1 or 2 people have DM'd you. And I want to thank you for your time. Okay. I want to thank you for everything that you've given to the people, not just on this live, but the previous live. I thank you once again, seriously, for spending this time with me. I hope you have fun at the same time.
I had a great
Okay,
time. Y'all
good.
are amazing.
Seriously, let me know when you're in town, because we could do another live, or we could just link and talk more about credit and make that a tax write-off. Okay.
Amen.
But for those who are excuse me, it's the alcohol, y'all. Okay, for those who have never been here before, I want to thank you for tuning into Rap and Mimosas, where I bring on different content creators and different professionals, and we rap literally, and we also rap by chopping it up amongst each other about various topics. Okay, and with that being said, I'm going to end with my little song. These bars in the holster, pouring up a drink, put my name on the poster. Women who can rap make you come a little closer. Step out the whip, drop a tip to my chauffeur. New guest on my list, champagne's by my hips. It's time to get lit. Y'all know what it is. It's time to rap, and mimosas. See y'all next week. Thank you, Christian.
No problem. I'll see y'all soon.
Bye-bye.
Right.